Oh, things are going to get romantic. And my guest today is here to talk about romance. Check out the Patreon for the longer version of our discussion. Patrons are getting a behind the scenes look into the creation of some of the social media elements referenced in this episode. That little Gigi, Lizzie, Darcy, San Francisco tour thing. So patrons stick around for that. My name is Ashley Clements.
My name is Kate Rorick, and these are the Look Back Diaries.
Woo, woo, woo! All right, I promised them romance. When I first introduced writer, executive producer, hair goddess, Kate Rorick, I mentioned that she came aboard in part because of her expertise with Pride and Prejudice, and in part because she was writing romance, and we did not have anyone on staff who really had experience in that area. And then I teased all this, she's our romance gal, and then didn't have you on for any particularly romantic episodes, but that changes today.
Well, I mean, I think you had some really fun people on for the romantic episodes. You got to go with what the people want, and people just don't tend to want to talk to the writer.
Actually, they love hearing from the writers on the Look Back Diaries. Comments come in about that all the time because I think they've met us who are more public facing before. Just try to shut me up. I'm around, I'm talking, and we don't hear as much of the perspective of the things that happen behind the scenes, and they love that.
I suppose if you're tuning into the Look Back Diaries, you do have a vested interest in knowing about how the series came about. So that's nice.
Well, and I think that there's a growing appreciation, or maybe it's just that, like, because of social media, I see the conversations more, but I think there's a real understanding that if you love something, you love the writers. Like, we didn't overcome the writing and figure out a way to be cute and charming. Like, we worked together to create something.
You are very cute and charming, all of you, the entirety of the cast.
Stop. Don't compliment me anymore. Stop it. I guess we can watch this episode and then I can ask you some questions about your process with it. I just remember it being like really adorable, and I know there's a hand touch, and I know that it's like the funniest we ever let Darcy be.
Well, yeah, that's the thing about this episode is that we had to first of all establish that you guys were getting to a place where you were comfortable with each other, and that we actually got to see a little bit of Darcy be happy because Darcy in general is not a happy person, but him being able to be playful and be and engage and have a back and forth with Lizzie on her level is good.
Right. We've seen them have a very intellectual back and forth
Conversation, yeah, but this is playful. This is them having that that flow, and one of the ways you establish that is to show that there is a greater level of comfort and a greater level of intimacy was with that shoulder touch. Like,
I remember it.
I mean, I wrote that into the script very specifically.
I know people ask if that's scripted, and I'm like, oh, that was scripted.
Because I needed to show that she is stepping over boundaries that she had before. She's testing the walls of what she's comfortable with and what he's comfortable with. And that little shoulder touch is one of them. And I actually thought, I was there when you guys shot it. I actually thought, oh, he didn't react enough. And then, I realized when the episode came out, oh, he reacted plenty because everybody caught on.
They did not miss it. And I remember reading that in the script and knowing exactly what it meant. It is like such a split second thing, but my hand absolutely lingers just slightly longer than it should.
Yeah.
And again, that's an example of all of us working together, but I can picture the gif that went around Tumblr about just zooming in on the hand and sparks flying out of it.
And then Dorothy's face is just what just happened? I
just
have to stay very, very still.
She touched me. It's also such a lovely nod to Jane Austen for it to be that subtle and that.
Because you don't need it to be big. She doesn't need to make out with him for him to start giving the hint that he likes her.
But she will. In 15 episodes.
The episodes. It's later.
We got to earn that.
Yeah, you have to earn that.
And I have a lot of questions about how we do that, but let's watch it and see what other questions come up.
Oh, your eyeshadow coordinates with your shirt. It's great.
It's a dress, and I definitely dressed up a little more than I would have for other episodes, but wanted there to be some kind of subtle nod that Lizzie wanted to look nice here.
Otherwise, there wouldn't be a video today. So bear with me, loyal viewers, because my name is Izzy Bennett, and this is the boring stuff.
Yeah, this is the boring stuff. Ha ha ha. What a tease. You liar.
More torso. More torso.
We love a torso. Yes. Yeah, just interview. I mean, it's such a great device because Lizzie could have asked somebody else if this is even an assignment, but she asked him. Oh, there it was. And yes, that was enough of a reaction.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Got it.
What would your viewers like to know? Anything that isn't on the website? Let's start with the name. What does Pemberley mean?
I'm trying to think if we really even see Darcy like smile or laugh in episodes before this one.
He really doesn't. Like, I mean, first of all, in episodes before this, he's appeared in about 5.
Especially one with such a young CEO.
So he's always presented as very stern and buttoned up.
Yeah, I think maybe we get like a smirk from him, but I don't know that we ever get a smile until I think here.
It's fun to watch you look at him actually, and I'm just like, oh, I crash.
It was really fun to play. I'm a natural star. I'm supposed to be interviewing you, and you're telling me how great I am. Yep.
Usually I start with you can't help but watch one smile just all the way through.
I mean, it's such a unique kind of flirting, but it's very these two flirting.
Now that is an example of something unique and different and creative about how you make your videos.
Which is excellent commentary that we got from other people telling us that this is unique and creative way that you guys make your videos. So I stole that.
Costume theater, your karaoke excursion with Gigi. Well, I'm not gonna sing, that's for sure. And since you're here,
I really wish you would have a lovely voice.
Oh, are you up for the challenge? Oh, no, I don't want to. Oh, but see, now she's teasing him. We've never done that before.
Yeah, well, Lizzie in this show and in the book, the original book, she teases, she plays.
So, what should we say?
I forgot about the flower for Gigi.
Well, I always go for the classic musical.
Yeah, I guess this is when we established that Gigi was sort of Jane plus Darcy.
Yeah. Because I mean, what else are you gonna do?
She didn't have a costume theater moment like that would establish some. It was a little. Not that Jane ever wore a flower, you know.
Yeah, true.
No, I understand.
No, but there is something very iconically sweet about it.
And here we get like a little, perhaps, apology.
Like with my mother.
Your mother? Yes, you're very cool to your mother.
My mother is obsessed with marrying off her daughters, but anyone who watches the videos can see that she cares about us and in her own way wants what's best. So
Well, because also he has, of course, her Pride and Prejudice judged my mama.
Hopefully he's called Bing and said I made a terrible mistake. You should probably go hook up with that girl that you really like.
Don't worry, Bing knows about the videos now.
Yes.
Okay, well, I had a phone call with my dad. We could reenact that. No, that would be weird.
And this is it's a very good point. Yeah, no, don't make him play your dad.
I had lunch with Fitz.
Fitz. I could be Fitz. Well, after all, Fitz got
Such a great bit. I can be Fitz.
Oh, there's just one problem.
Payback.
I don't have
I love this reference too. Like, oh no, we have an entire.
All about how you're getting on at the Pemberley.
I love him trying to like match Craig's cadence. And yes, Craig did just like lean into the camera. So let's talk about the rising. I mean, we've done the awkward. This is the most comfortable we ever see the two of them, even though, of course, there's still like a bit of an awkwardness. But basically, there's only, 4 Darcy episodes in the Pemberley arc. We have Gigi shoving the two of them in a room together and then being like, hi, oh, this is so uncomfortable, but I see you again. Hypermediation in new media, which is very heady, but there is this kind of like tension. It's a very sort of like,
but they're still very aware of the awkward. This one is about removing the awkward. This one's about like them being comfortable with each other, so that when the bad shit happens, that it like you are losing something. You are
Right.
losing the closeness and the intimacy that you were just established. It's taking people on a roller coaster ride, and they hate you for it, and then they're okay with it.
And then they love you.
Yeah.
Yes, and I should say you wrote these, both of the 2 Darcy episodes in a row here, 83 and 84, when like he finally asks her out and then she gets the phone call that takes her away. But I guess my question for you is, as a romance writer, that I just also think might be interesting to them. We think about the payoff, we think about the big kiss, we think about the proposal, him expressing his feelings. But in some ways, I think the most important parts of the romance are what happen in between him declaring his feelings and her essentially declaring hers. We have to show in such a limited way, because of our format, style of the show, Darcy wouldn't be around much. They have very little time together. And also, if they were together too much, we might kind of diffuse the tension. How we show so slowly and yet quickly, because we just have these little snapshots, the growing affection, how we go on that journey with Lizzie to see her fall for him. And how do you think about, I know you've written many romance plots, how do you think about having characters slowly fall in love with each other?
In this show, from episode 60 on, Lizzie and Darcy are operating with the full accompaniment of all the information, which is good because they're no longer at cross purposes. They are sort of on parallel tracks, slowly coming towards each other. I think about romance the same way you would a conversation. You start with the awkward getting to know you, and then you find common ground, and then you can work with that, and then you can build. It's all about growing intimacy within the situation. So like, yeah, the shoulder touch is a big deal to me. The fact that he invades her space and she actually gets a little bit more comfortable with him being in that space. Like, if you think about episode 60, where she's trying to push him out the door, and in this one she invites him in, it's very different. I think about how the little things matter. That is what I think about. And it's what earns you that making out in episode 98. So proud of you for that.
I love that you're saying it's the little things, because I think that's absolutely, I mean, obviously you're right, but I like highlighting it for them, because without all these little things building up, 98 doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you like have him to the ground and made out with him in this episode, it's a very different story.
Well, and it's that delicious torture that I'm familiar with as an audience member, where you are sitting there going like, no, I want them to kiss. But ultimately, like, keeping an audience right there is so delicious. The little things that you're talking about building into the romance, especially on display in this episode, are all elements in which Darcy is showing Lizzie how much he sees her.
He is commenting very specifically on her work. Like, he's not saying, your hair is the color of cornflowers or whatever. He's saying, your work is good and it's interesting, and I'm telling you this as an industry professional. And that's catnip, baby.
Yeah, it's respect too, which is, we love that.
I wrote a perfect episode. It can't be topped.
Except perhaps by another Kate Rorick episode.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Darcy is such a beloved romantic hero and is often sort of held as like the paragon. And was it at all intimidating to have to write your own version of that, or was that just the most exciting thing to get to do?
It was fun. From what I remember, it was fun. Maybe it was hell at the time. I don't know. DVG created such a wonderful version, as did the costume theater previous to him, of Darcy. And to show that and to have that be like, yeah, that's exactly who he is, but you got to peel back a couple layers. He's a reserved individual. He's a man of few words, but those words count.
I think that part of the reason people love him so much is because once you peel back those layers, what you find is someone who's incredibly caring about the people he loves, very protective. It's all just goodness. It's just like a little layer of reserve and grump on top. And when you get under it, it's just like love.
To make yourself that vulnerable is not easy. And the fact that he was willing to do it and had to do it made him a better person. And that's something, look, he gets toward the end. It's like, loving you has made me a better person.
And isn't that a big part as well of why people love Lizzie and Darcy so much, is that they make each other better.
Yes, I think that is what we hope for in every single relationship. You don't want the one that makes you worse. It's called a toxic relationship, and you should probably seek therapy.
See Lydia's vlogs.
There you go.
And of course, these two things were playing at the same time for fans who were watching the full experience, and the contrast was stark.
Yeah, yeah. And they were, and I remember the comments that were on Lydia's blogs at the time, and people were reacting like, please get out of there. Please leave this relationship. Please, please go. And you're like, yeah, we want her to go too, but we can't yet. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we're doing a story. It's okay. Hang on. But the Lizzie Darcy stuff was just so fun to do. And I think, largely because we had such great material. It was such a boon to the show to have someone come on who had a keen eye for the elements that build romance and such an appreciation and deep knowledge of Pride and Prejudice that we could have these subtle moments that the audience absolutely understood. I almost forgot. You gotta take a look at the comments. I'm sure that there's some fun stuff here about the romance. Susie says, I love how Darcy took an interview with him about his accomplishments and turned it into gushing about how smart and talented Lizzie is. What a smitten nerd. Grace Reed says, this is the boring stuff, she says, as every viewer excitedly tucks up their legs and tries to hold back preemptive squeals of anticipation.
I always like a nice misdirectional cue.
Yes, it's very funny. Here we get some acknowledgement. Katie Ludwig says, Lizzie touches Darcy's shoulder. Internally, Darcy, oh my God, she touched me. All right, be cool, man, be cool. Tries not to hyperventilate. I think he did put that all in that tiny look.
Yeah,
yes.
That tiny little thing where I thought he wasn't reacting enough, but nope, everybody else got it.
They got it. Yeah, I mean, look at this. The shoulder touch. Ayo, there are tears in my eyes. I love Dizzy so much. Can I just point out the look on Darcy's face when Lizzie touched his shoulder? I mean, sorry, now I'm just like, wait, let's...
Yeah, those times where you're a gift again.
It's so little. It's so little, but it does so much. It's not there yet. And then, oh. It does a lot. It does a lot. Thank you for giving us the fuel for the fire. And thanks for coming on the Look Back Diaries. We'll chat again soon.
It's been lovely. It's been so much fun reliving all this stuff.